Hi, I'm Bill Honeycutt, and tonight I'm going to try and make an attempt to break down a full match and see all the calls that were made in this match in its entirety. At the very start of the match, we have the wrestlers coming to the center, and now we're wrestling. You can see right there, I'm going to move it back. See it again, that red goes straight back and makes no attempt to circle in, and he is warned for stalling in the very early part of the match. We get a stoppage here, brought to my attention by the assistant that there's an issue with the ankle bands. A mistake on my part that before the match started, we didn't check the anklets, and red should have the red anklet on, and the wrestler in blue from Lamont should have the green anklet on. So now you can see there's confusion with the coach because I hit red for stalling for backing out, and Lamont is wearing the red anklet. So we have to clarify for the coach, avoid conflict, and get the ankle band switched. I'm holding up the red to show that red was wrestler warned for stalling. As the action continues, at this point, we're probably pretty equal at going in for the takedown. At this point, a lot of times I try to talk to the wrestler. I don't like to call stalemates and tell them to work out of it. So we got action back and forth. In my mind, things are pretty equal at this point, but see, we have a point of hanging on, and usually at this point, I'm telling them to improve, wrestle out of it. Now green's got the underhooks in, and we go to the edge, but red tries to drop down under it. And at this point, I consider it just wrestling because he tried to drop his weight and kind of come back in as he was backing toward the edge because he's already been warned for stalling. And here's another look at it, and some might say that he backed out again. So we get a stoppage and then a start in the center again. At this point, green is definitely the aggressor. He's under movement, and red backs out in a much faster pace. And the referee warns red again for stalling, and it's a second stalling, and awards 1 point. Take a look at it again. Gets up underneath, watch the direction, watch how fast red backs out of the center. So now we have a score of 1-0, and we're just in over a minute, and red's been warned and penalized for stalling. At this point, the referee has to talk to the wrestlers, keep them aware that they're in jeopardy of already being warned and penalized for stalling and another one coming. Here we have action on the edge. We'll play it back again, and at this point, it's determined it's just wrestling. Back to the center. And we're down under 30 seconds left in the first period. Red trying to show some offense. Green still using the big underhooks. And the clock and the period's winding down, and my assistant's doing a good job of counting down and giving me time. We have a brief break there of blood time, but we cut it out of the video just to save some time. Green now is chosen down, and red is on top. Green comes up, red keeps making mat returns, and the rule says we have to attempt mat returns. We don't have to succeed. Green now is awarded an escape, and we're in the neutral position. Green is coming forward, but red still keeps trying to mount some offense by coming underneath instead of backing all the way out because he's been warned and penalized. Now, green goes behind, scores his takedown. Now we have a score of 4-0 in favor of green. At this point, we start looking at the action, and I'm telling them to improve because red is starting to base out. And the minute we talk to the wrestlers, in this case, red starts trying to build his base. Now you can see green is very tight on top with a knee in the back, and we need some kind of improvement. He's got the wrist. He's going to try to pull him over. Red goes behind. It's reversal for 2. Lifts and drops out of bounds. 2 things happen here. You see the 2 for the reversal, but no signal for the reversal. The fact that we're right on the edge, red is trying to lift and return, and in the referee's opinion, it's a natural reaction that when you lift and turn to the side and return to the mat. It's a very hard thing to pick up and walk into the center. So at this point, there was no call. We have 22 seconds left, 4-2 score. When we have a false start, we stop, we caution the bottom wrestler. We're going to reset, and we get the proper C up for the caution. Green stands, and the referee needs to be in a good position to see his hands. All right, now we're going to go back because if you notice in this sequence, I'm going to go back 2 spots. We'll start it again. Once the bottom wrestler stands, the referee's in a good position to see the hands. And once green opens his hands, it shows me that he wasn't holding the wrists of red, and red has been warned for stalling. Notice the signal by the referee, stalling. Well, what do we know here? Red has already been warned and penalized for stalling. So a technical mental mistake by the official because, yes, it's stalling, but what was forgotten? To award a point for green. Now when green holds his hands back, there's a period of time, if he doesn't improve his action, you could consider hitting green for stalling because he's supposed to make an attempt to try to get away. Now we've scored 1 for the escape, and the question becomes, did we get it at the buzzer? And the clock's counting down. 2, 1. We've got the escape. Now the issue we have to deal with here is the referee never gave the point for stalling. So this needs to be corrected. So the referee moves to the table. At this point, it's a short, quick conversation, but we make a big mistake here, because when the official goes to the table, the assistant referee should be in the center of the mat with the two wrestlers. The two wrestlers should not be left alone in the center of the mat. No matter how quick it is, we've left two wrestlers out in the center by themselves. This should never happen. Red chooses down for the third period. We've got a score of 6-2 in favor of green. Red scores an escape. Now the score is 6-3. It's the third period. Red's behind by 3. And you see a little bit sense of maybe some urgency to make something happen, but green is still on the attack. Out of bounds, I think a simple call there. Watch it again. There's definitely no supporting points in to score the takedown. Everything comes out. So we're still neutral. Start again in the center. And green is still pushing the pace. Red drops under to avoid going out. Green comes behind, secures the ankle, and scores the takedown for 2. We're down to just a little over a minute left in the match. The assistant does a good job making me aware of the time. I'm starting to look for a little more action. Now we got a scramble on the edge. And we have a lot of things happening here. You can see the referee has signaled 1 for the escape. We'll go back. Make sure it's the right call. I don't think we have a flea. I think that was a natural movement to try to get out of the high leg. So the escape was warranted. But did we notice what happened after the whistle was blown? Watch red. Now watch green. A little slap on the head. You can't let these things go. You see unnecessary roughness, green. Red's awarded 1 point. This is where you got to stay on top, because sometimes matches like this get very chippy and a lot of little things happen when you're not looking. The assistants go into the table to make sure they recorded the point for the unnecessary roughness. Now we have a score of 8-5. We're neutral. Getting closer to just under 30 seconds left. The action on the edge, just wrestling there. I don't think anyone would think that there was a back out or anything, that we had action. Red had shot there and green shot to counter. The action took them out of bounds. We're neutral again. Red has to score here or the match pretty much is over based on score. Green scores a takedown, pushes the score 10-5. With like 5 seconds left, this is how the match is going to end. Final score, green 10, red 5. Couple of things to think about and remember here. There were a lot of calls in this match. Some good stalling calls, couple borderline that you could have maybe gotten another call in, but definitely stalling was called. There were a couple of mistakes, technical mistakes by the official, forgetting to signal the point after stalling call. A bad mechanic of not showing a reversal after scoring the 2 for the reversal. And by going to the table and leaving the 2 wrestlers in the center of the mat where the assistant should have been. But thanks to a good assistant, the assistant kept me aware of time, knew when the point should have been scored, and because of everything, we caught the little unnecessary roughness and we avoided any kind of major disruptions during the match. So hopefully from seeing this match, I think it had a little bit of everything to show you how important it is to get the little things right, to be in the match at all times, and to have a good assistant. Throughout the match, you can see the assistant does a good job of closing, staying pretty much 180 when he's supposed to be, and being there when I need him. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. If you have any comments, feel free to post them. I thank you for listening and have a good night.